Now it's going to stay, I guess. Say something.
Huh?
Say something.
Say something? What do you want me to say?
Well,
I say, what's the matter with the little machine there?
I don't know. I don't know what's the matter with the little machine. Tell me where the school was in North Plainfield
Where the school was?
that got split in half.
The old school?
Yeah,
Well, it's between Harmony and Race Street.
and the buildings are still there.
Yeah, but they're turned into two family houses. They split the building in half.
Right,
There's two families in this one, two families in this one.
right.
This one's on Race Street, this one's on Harmony Street. Not facing.
Yeah.
They're all facing Watchung Avenue.
Okay. And those buildings are there now?
Yeah.
They're still there.
Huh?
They're still there, the
Yeah.
buildings. Did you ever go to those schools?
No. I don't know whether my father did or not.
Oh, it was before he went to
He was the
school.
one who told me about it.
Ah,
Now, whether if he went to school or didn't go to school, I don't know.
yeah. Where did you start school in Somerset School?
Yeah,
Huh?
Somerset Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you showed me a little store on Somerset Street where you went to, was it fourth grade?
Fourth grade.
Fourth grade.
Yeah. That was because they were getting crowded on Somerset Street to the main school.
Right.
So they made that upstairs. It was like a grocery store, a fruit store downstairs,
Yeah.
and upstairs was the fourth grade.
Oh, okay. Just fourth grade, one grade.
That's all.
One grade. Now, where was the blacksmith shop that you?
That was on Race Street.
On Race Street.
Yeah.
Between.
There was a blacksmith shop. There was a volunteer fire department on Race Street.
Between Somerset and Watchung.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's all Race Street is.
Oh, it's just one block.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And how did they shoot a horse when he was ornery?
Well, they had a sort of like a net under it. Ropes came up to a pulley to an L, and the pulley was on the ceiling.
Right.
And they hooked that onto that and pulled the horse up off his feet, off the floor.
And then he couldn't kick.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
You don't remember? Do you remember the name of the blacksmith?
No.
Huh?
No.
No. And what you were telling me the other night about, let's see, what was it? Was putting beer in the bottles at the store?
Well, that was Oyster.
Where was that now? Where was that store?
That was on the corner of Somerset Street and Race.
Somerset and Race.
They would get the beer by the keg.
Right.
And they would open the kegs and fill the bottles. You could buy the beer there by the bottle, but you couldn't drink it there.
Right. It was their bottle?
Huh?
Their bottle.
Regular beer bottle.
Yeah. You never saw the beer go home in a pail, huh?
Not from there, no.
Yeah. I've heard of it, but I never saw it.
There was a saloon right across the street.
On
there was a hotel.
On Somerset Street?
There was a hotel right on the corner of Lincoln Place and Somerset.
Yeah.
And there was a saloon downstairs.
Yeah.
There was a hotel upstairs.
Is that right?
Yeah. And that ain't there anymore. But the borough of North Plainfield has their building all the way down now to the corner. They tore the hotel down. They tore the three little stores down that was beyond the hotel, like Eddie Gold, and then there was a little fruit, and he sold ice cream. And the first thing that Joe Church owned was he bought this little fruit stand and ice cream and like that. But he didn't put much time in there. He hired an Italian boy to work in the store.
Yeah. In the fruit store.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But he didn't stay there very long because he was quite a businessman,
Mm-hmm.
and he went and bought that piece of property, the other side of Linden Avenue, right on the corner. And see, that was a grocery store.
Across from Linden Avenue?
Yeah,
Yeah.
facing Somerset.
Yeah.
That was facing.
Well, yeah, I remember that if you went into the left, you went to Thorpe's Meat Market. Isn't that right?
What?
If you went into the left side, you went to Thorpe's Meat Market.
Yeah.
If you went to the right, you went to Church's Grocery.
Right.
They shared the building, right? Isn't that right?
Well, there was a butcher shop on one side and a Joe Church grocery store on this side.
Yeah, and wasn't the butcher shop Thorpe's? I think that's right.
I think they were down a little further.
Do you?
I think they were either one store more down or two stores more down.
You mean there was two butcher shops right close together?
Yeah, because I often got my groceries there.
At where? At Church's?
No,
At
this other one you're talking about.
Yeah.
That was all grocery. That was no meat shop.
Well, I don't know where, it was in that area. I used to go down. Mom would send me down to get a pound of round steak.
Yeah.
Right? And then that was supposed to say a pound of round steak. And after he got it out and weighed it and showed it to me, then I was supposed to say, grind it, please.
Uh-huh.
That was so they didn't give you a hamburger with the fat thrown in.
Right.
Okay.
They do that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was right across from what was then the Sunny Shop.
Well, right on the corner of Race Street.
Yeah.
Here's Race Street. Here's Washington Avenue.
Yeah.
Here's Race Street coming down to Somerset.
Yeah.
Now on this corner,
yeah,
there was a
southeast
butcher shop.
Okay. I don't think I remember that.
There was a butcher shop, and they used to kill their own chickens.
Uh-huh.
Yeah? And how they used to kill them? In their backyard. Here's the way they killed them.
Yeah.
They would put the chickens out there, take them out of the coop or whatever they were in, and turn them loose in the backyard, and then go ahead and catch them, and they have some kind of a knife.
Yeah.
They catch the chicken, open its mouth,
Yeah.
and cut it up into the roof of the mouth. Just cut it. Now let the chicken go. Now he'd run crazy all over the thing here until he weakens.
Uh-huh.
That's the way they used to kill them.
All over the backyard of their
In their backyard.
In their backyard.
Yeah.
Did I leave a lot of blood on the ground?
Well, they had it, but I don't.
Uh-huh.
I suppose they did. I don't know how they done about that.
Huh. What else did they sold beef and pork and all that too, I take it.
Yeah, yeah, it was a regular butcher shop.
But they didn't kill that there, just the chickens. They didn't have any beef there or pigs there.
No, just the chickens.
How about
The butcher shop was run by the mayor of now I'm getting too fast.
Yeah.
It was run by the brother of the mayor. So now what is that guy's name? Not Smalley. And after the guy that was in there, time run out, mayor.
Yeah.
His another brother
Yeah.
that run the stone crusher
Yeah.
up in Watchung there.
Yeah.
Well, he run for mayor and he got it.
And he won.
Yeah, and he got it.
What years are that? Can you think? Do you have any idea what year? Where were you living then? You were living. Where were you living when those
At that
guys were
time?
there? Yeah.
Well,
Were you married?
yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No.
It
Was it after the war or before the
See,
war?
I didn't get married till I come back.
Yeah. Was it after the war or before the war?
No, after the war.
After the war,
Yeah.
but before you got married.
I think I lived at 44 Mining Avenue.
Yeah.
That's 1 block over
Right.
from Ray Street.
Okay. And tell me about the what store did you work for when you were a young man?
Huh?
What store did you work for when you were a young man?
Sloss Brothers.
The
Sloss Brothers.
Sloss Brothers.
Yeah.
That was
their name.
On Front Street or where?
Yeah, right on it. Right. If you went down Somerset Street and walked across the street walked across Front Street, you walk right in their front door.
Ah, okay. So the Park Avenue was there at the time, right? They were sort of on the corner of Park Avenue.
Yeah, the Park Avenue was there.
Yeah.
See, they tore a whole side off that in order to make Park Avenue, Park Avenue wider.
Yeah. Yeah, and they put a bend in it so that you'd lined up with Somerset Street.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it was better than the way it was.
Yeah.
Before they did that, Park Avenue was fairly narrow.
Right.
Narrow.
Yeah. And how old were you when you worked for Sloss Brothers?
Oh. Well, I wasn't very old.
You started in a florist and then went there? I got that right?
Yeah.
Where was the florist?
I guess I told you why I got.
No, tell me.
I was supposed to go home at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
It was Manny and Bill. Manny was the one who was in charge for everything, and Bill was in charge of the fruit and what was the other one? Manny and Bill.
This is at the food store?
Huh?
This is at the food store or the florist?
No. We were at the grocery store.
Yes.
On one side was the grocery store.
Yeah.
And on the same store, on the other side was the butcher shop.
Uh-huh. Okay. In Sloss Brothers.
Huh?
In Sloss Brothers.
Sloss Brothers.
Sloss Brothers.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah. And you were supposed to go home at 6 o'clock?
Yeah. And I think it was Mo. Mo come to me. I was getting ready to go, and I guess partly some of them was gone already.
Yeah.
He says, John, he says, he says, that customer that lives at the end of Central Avenue. That's the end of Central Avenue.
Yeah.
He said, they went and ordered a can of peas, and they want them sent down for tonight's meal.
1 can of peas.
Can of peas. I said, listen. I said, it's time for me to go home. He said, I know. He said, but you can take the bicycle and take it down there. I said, I ain't going to do that. He said, you mean you're not going to do it? He said, are you sure you're not going to do it? I said, yep, I'm going home right now.
Yeah.
So I did.
See?
So that's how I got into the flower shop.
Oh. You mean you didn't go back to the food store, to the grocery store?
I only went back to get my $5.
Oh, okay.
They had a woman cashier at the grocery side and a woman cashier at the butcher side.
And somebody recommended you for the florist shop then after that?
Well, Mrs. Hyatt, that lived on I don't know what that's called. Well, anyway, it's a little side street right up there by the church. What's on Presbyterian, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's 3. There's 1, 2, 3 streets.
Oh, yeah.
It's named.
I think they're called First,
Second, and Third.
First, Second, and Third Road or something like that. I know where you mean.
Well, George, that was the carpenter.
Yeah.
He does work for Mrs. Hyatt.
Yeah.
And he said to Mrs. Hyatt, that she told me this afterwards. She said that, that George wanted a apprentice boy, but he wanted a good boy. He wanted a boy that really wanted to learn the trade.
Uh-huh.
So she said she didn't think too much about it, but she said, "I'll tell you what you do." She said, "You go over to MacDonald." She said they live over on, God, I don't know where we live.
Ray
Anyway.
Street or Manning Avenue, probably.
Yeah, probably must have been there. And he said, "Why don't you go over there and see?" And she said, "I know the one boy." She said, "His name is John." And she said, "Have a talk to him." Well, she said, "Who do you know?" Oh, she said, "Wait a minute." She says, "You know what Stanley's Flowers is?" And George said, "Yes, I know where that is."
Yeah.
He said, "I think John works in there."
Ah, okay.
He said, "I'm pretty sure he does." So she said, "Why don't you stop there and talk to him?" So he did.
Uh-huh.
And I was downstairs making they have iron frames for fixing with peat moss, so you can pick the flower out of a toothpick and fill out what you want to do in that design.
Yeah.
So I came up and he talked to me there. He said, "You're John MacDonald?" I said, "That's right." He said, "How would you like to learn the carpenter trade?" Well, I said, "I work here."
Yeah.
He said, "I know that." But he said, I would like to get you as a apprentice boy for the carpenter trade."
Uh-huh.
So it hit me, I thought, well, I ain't going to get very far here.
Right.
This
Right.
fun. So I said, "All right." I said, "When do you want me?" And he said, "Just as soon as you can get loose." So after he went, I told him, I said, I'm going to leave you. I forget what her name was. She was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her I have a chance to go and learn the carpenter trade. Well, she said, she tried to keep me.
Yeah.
Anyway. So anyway, I told her no. I said, I don't know whether I'm going to win or lose, but I said, I'm going to go
Mm-hmm.
with to learn the carpenter trade. So I did.
Very
That's
good.
how I got into carpenter.
What was, you know George's last name?
Huh?
You said George?
Yes, I do. And I can't think of it right now.
Yeah, it'll come to you. Did he tell you how much he was going to pay you then?
Not then, no.
No? You didn't know what you were going to get paid. But he did pay you.
Not really, no.
But he did pay you?
Well, he paid me.
Yeah.
But he did, he was very nice about it. I guess I was with him about, maybe a year and a half.
Were you?
And Bob York and I and another guy were putting a roof on. So George came up the ladder and he gave Bob his paycheck and he gave the other guy the paycheck and he started back down the ladder. So Bob said, "John," he said, "didn't pay you, did he?" I said, "No." He said, "Why didn't you holler at him?" I said, "Nah." I said, he'll give me it anyway." Well, he probably got about to the bottom of the ladder. He just did it for a joke.
Did he? Yeah.
So he came back up again.
Uh-huh.
He got to the top of the ladder, and of course I expect Bob to talk up, but he didn't. He just kept his eye on. Well, he started back down the ladder. He would have.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, he did start. He says, "John," the boss said, "Stop." He says, "John, come over here. I want to talk to you." He says, "Here." He says, Here is your first union full check."
Uh-huh.
Well, I said, "That's nice of you." Well, he said, "You deserve it." He said, "You're a guy that that can work. You know how to do what you're told to do. I said, that's nice of you. So,
Were you in the union then?
Huh?
Were you in the union? You said union full check.
Not then, no.
No, okay.
Then I had to join the union.
Then you had to join the union. Okay. Where did George live? Do you know? Remember?
Yes, he lived right on the corner. Oh, it was over in Plainfield. It was near the Plainfield High School.
Yeah.
Right in there. Well, they lived on the corner of that. Here, they lived right here, and he had he must have rented it across the street. Well, not right across about like that.
Yeah.
He rented a building that was in the backyard, and he bought that for a workshop.
For storage and
Yeah.
workshop.
We did a lot of work in there.
Uh-huh. How many people did he have working for him?
Well, they varied, of course.
Yeah.
But there was times when he only had 3,
Uh-huh.
and there was times when he had about 8 and 10.
Uh-huh.
But then he did. I don't know why he did that. I thought myself, well, no, he's such a nice guy. So anyway, he put let's see, I don't know whether he figured. There was a couple of guys that smoked cigars.
Yes.
And I don't know whether he figured that they were taking up too much time of smoking the cigars or what. Anyway, he said that he put out a notice, no more smoking.
No more smoking. Yeah. On the job.
Well, there was one of the guys. No, his name goes. These names just slip me, and
Yeah, well,
they do come.
They
to
slip and they
me.
come
But
back.
anyway, well, he says, don't smoke, no more smoking. He says, what's the idea of that? Why would he say that? And so Bob said to him,
That Bob York?
yeah.
Yeah.
He says, what do you think about it? Well, he says, I don't think nothing. He says, I'm going to smoke. He said, I'll smoke. And he did.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Didn't bother him.
Nope.
He didn't do any more about
Well,
it, huh?
he suppose maybe he's sorry after he said it.
Maybe.
But he said, no, he said, I'm going to keep smoking.
Uh-huh. I remember a guy you worked with for a while, Ken Stahl.
Yeah.
He always had a cigar in his mouth.
Yes, I worked for Ken for a
You
while.
worked for him for a while?
His father was a contractor.
Yeah. In fact, there's a road off of Greenbrook Road now called Stahl's Way.
Yeah.
That's that family.
Right.
Yeah. Because he lived right up in there.
Yeah.
And
He owned all that end of town. Well, I mean, a servo house.
Yeah.
He owned.
Ken had 2 boys. I remember one name was Chris, and I know the other one was Ken Jr. I'm not sure. But he had 2 sons that were about my age, a little older maybe. I remember one named Chris.
Well, you know what? Like I think he is yet today, as far as I know.
Yeah.
You know what he got?
What?
He was what do you call it?
This is Ken?
Well, I mean, the guy when you're going to build something, you got to go to and get a permit.
Building inspector? Building inspector? Building inspector. Yeah.
Up to that section.
Yeah.
For that section up there, why he was building inspector.
You mean up near where he lived?
No, he lived right there.
No, which section you mean he was building?
Huh?
He was building inspector in North Plainfield? Or
No, not North Plainfield.
no?
Now, I can't think of her name. Anyway, Roy got a permit. No, he didn't get no permit yet. he told
Roy Force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He told the lady, he said, look, you get the permit.
Yeah.
So she says, all right, I'll get the permit. So when we went up again to see if everything was all right, we was going to build a dormer on the roof to make a bathroom up in the attic.
Right.
And so she went and got the permit. So Roy, I don't know what he called her up a little. And he said, have you got the permit?
Uh-huh.
And she said, yes, I have. So Roy said, all right. He said, we'll be up there tomorrow. Now, when we done a job like that, I always tell them, now you stay with me. Because if I get a hold of the roof and it starts raining, I said, no. He said, I'll stay with you when you do this. So when we got up there, the lady said, or Roy said to the lady, did you have any trouble getting the permit? She said, listen to this one. She said, I started to tell who was going to do that dormer up there. She said, and then once I said, John MacDonald, he says, forget it. He said, she said, he's as good a carpenter as ever was made.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Now was that Ken talking? Was that Ken Stahl?
That was the lady talking to Ken.
Ken, yeah, right, yeah.
He said, don't fool about that guy. He said, he's a good man. Because I had worked with him before that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I knowed him before I worked with him.
I think I worked for him for a little bit.
Yes, you did.
Tearing nails out and stuff like that.
Well, I'll tell you what you done.
Yeah.
You painted the barn up there. That was this place up in the, I forget where it was now. It was the guy that made their kind of cakes up there.
Not the Grigsby Nut Kitchen.
Yeah.
Was it Grigsby's Nut Kitchen? I remember you talking about them.
We was working up there to there. And
I don't remember painting the barn.
yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you what I do remember, I think, was doing a big job, good heavens. I'm recording some notes here. Pop. I just want you to know the recorder's running. And you're going swimming? Huh? Okay. What I do remember is, I think it was on a great big house on, I think, 7th Street, out toward the west end of town. And we did a lot of interior work. And I remember hauling down a lot of wood that you ripped out and taking the nails out of it and stacking it and stuff like that. I think that was with Ken Stahl, but I'm not absolutely sure.
It probably was.
I think it was.
It probably was, yeah.
I think once or twice, I think I even worked with one or both of his boys at the same time on a job. And I think it was Chris and Ken. I know it was Chris, but I'm not sure if it was Ken Jr. I think it was. So you didn't get rained on when you did that dormer?
No.
Went all right.
No, we had good luck with it. And of course, a thing like it, I mean, you can get it rainproof pretty quick.
Yeah.
As long as the weather's with you.
You put plastic on it, or you got all the wood in one day? You put a tarp on it?
We had it sheathed, and we had the roof sheathed.
Yeah.
And we had he brought some tar paper.
Yeah.
And we covered it with tar paper right away.
Oh, and that would keep the rain out.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Where was that house where you did the dormer? Do you remember?
Huh?
Where was that house located?
On Gold Street.
Gold Street?
As you go down Greenbrook Road.
I don't know that.
To
Rock Avenue.
Rock Avenue.
Yeah.
But don't turn.
Yeah.
Go on across, and the next street you come to in here is Gold Street,
Uh-huh.
and that's where the house was.
Okay. I think you told me did you tell me that's where Gloria Bosenberry lived? Gloria MacDonald?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Same
who
street?
that's who I'm trying to think of. Like, yes, she lived there.
Yeah.
It was too big.
Boy, you've been working hard.
No, but I can't believe this is too big, but it's too big.
You lost weight.
I guess.
How old is that one?
That's old. Old. I do this once a year.
Huh?
I get my babies to the only top.
Right. Tell me about, is it Tears Pond?
Yeah,
Tell me where Tears Pond was located.
Tears Pond.
Yeah.
Well, there was a dam across there.
Across Greenbrook?
No, across the pond,
Yeah.
and that water came over the dam, under a bridge, which was Watchung Avenue,
Yes.
and on down way on down where
Toward the west. Yeah.
And they had they had their own ice every
Yeah.
winter, and they would take, and when the ice got, say, 8 inches thick or 10 inches thick,
Right.
thicker the better they liked it.
Yeah.
Well, they would put a horse out on there, and this horse would have pull like a saw with these big teeth into it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was hitched up to the horse, and he goes on, and the guy in the back of it steering it to cut the ice. I don't know how far in the cut went, but it went far enough to the guys come after that, and they would have a thing with teeth into it, with a handle, and they would get into that crack
Yeah.
and just bounce this a few times,
Yeah.
and you'll hear boom, 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 right out across the pond.
It would break.
The ice would break.
You mean now the horse was dragging the cutter, right? The horse is dragging it sort of like a plow, a
Yeah,
little bit like a plow.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's only one blade,
Right.
so it
right.
went down into the ice.
Uh-huh. And the guys that were finishing the cut, they didn't ever fall into water, or they were,
Well, then there'd be other guys come along and cut that into cakes,
smaller cakes.
pretty good sized cake.
Yeah.
Then they'd have to have big poles with a hook onto it,
Right.
a sharp hook,
Yeah.
and they would have to keep pushing these on down because they had right down into the water there, and they would come up onto the first floor, and when that first floor got filled up, they changed the thing, and that would have to go up to the second floor,
Oh.
and
uh-huh.
then it would go on up to the third floor.
So there was a special storage building right on the pond.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Now, when they started, did they use did they use hay to keep it from melting later?
No.
Huh?
No.
How did they keep it from melting?
Well, I suppose so much of it there in one bunch.
There's so much in one place.
That,
And was the walls of the building, were they insulated any way or other?
that's what I
Just-
know.
There were wooden walls,
Well, as far as I know, it was all wood. I don't know.
thick wood, or you don't know?
Yeah. But then he had a provision that projected out over the pond.
Yeah.
Well, not a whole pond, but
Yeah.
he projected that out there.
It would be like a dock going out. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was ice cream parlor.
Uh-huh.
You could go there nights with your girl
Uh-huh.
and have ice cream.
So the dam was built so that they could make the ice, I guess,
And,
right?
right.
Yeah. And
Now
was
the dam is gone now. That's why.
so the dam would be a little bit.
Well, there would still be a stream going, like when it's raining and
Yeah.
pouring a lot. There's still a lot of water coming.
Well, did they dam up the Green Brook, or they dammed up something else? Was it, you said it was a little bit, was near Watchung, right? Watchung Avenue. When the water came over the dam,
It goes right through what?
it went through Watchung Avenue.
Yeah. Right
But
down,
was it close to Front Street also?
right on down to Somerset Street, and it goes on.
Yeah, right.
That's another bridge where the buildings are built right on the bridge.
Yeah.
So most.
So that would be Greenbrook, right? You must have dammed up Greenbrook.
Most of the people don't know there's a dam there.
Yeah.
Or a water flowing under there.
No. Oh, you mean on Somerset Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. On Watchung Avenue, I think there's stores on one side, but not the other side.
Well, there's stores on the one
One
side,
side.
nothing on the other side.
Right. So it was close to Somerset Street. It was close to
Watchung?
Front Street.
Yeah.
Right. It had to be close to Front Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was close to Front Street.
So did somebody named here? Did he build that pond, or you don't know? Did he build the dam?
The dam?
He built the
I
dam.
don't know.
Yeah.
Whether he did or
But
not.
Tier sold the ice, right?
They sold the ice.
And in the summertime, he sold ice cream.
Yep.
Mm.
They made their own ice cream, and they sold it there.
How big would you say the pond was?
The what?
How big was the pond?
The pond?
Yeah,
Pretty good size.
yeah.
A lot of fish in it. Oh, you ought to see some of the carps they pull out of
Oh,
it.
yeah?
Oh, about that size.
Big fellas.
About that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Carps.
Uh-huh. Big as a football field? Bigger than a football field? Two football fields?
Well, yes, if you took the whole thing in, yeah.
Would be what?
Well, about the size of a football
About the
field.
size of a football field. And where did they sold the ice right there? You had to come there and get the ice?
Uh-huh.
Huh?
You had to come there and get it.
In your own wagon or car or whatever you had.
Yeah. So he made a good living out of that.
Uh-huh. And you told me that your mother worked there at the ice.
Yeah.
Was she worked where at the ice cream parlor?
People in the house.
Oh, in the house.
Yeah.
She worked for Mr. and Mrs. Tier. Would that be right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
At their house.
Well, she was just like a maid would be.
Yeah.
In the house.
Yeah. Was their house at the pond or was it someplace else?
No, right on the same property.
Was there on the same property?
Yeah.
Huh. And you think that's where she met your father?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe that's where she met him.